Correctional Services, Department raids new prison.
Now let's move on to another story now. The National Commissioner of Correctional Services, that's Makgoti Tobagale, is currently conducting an unannounced prison search at New Prison Correctional Services in Pietermaritzburg, KwaZulu-Natal. This is part of the ongoing effort then to minimize crime and heighten safety during the festive season. Newsroom Africa's Sletiwe Ndlovu joins us now live to give us more details on the search operation. Sletiwe, what is the main objective behind not just this prison raid, but really the sense of understanding how safe prisons should be at this time as well, and a little bit more?
Good evening, Arabile. You will remember that not so long ago it was announced that there would be an operation that would take place during the festive season, just so that the departments can ensure a safer festive season. You'll also remember that it has been known or it has been reported that the festive season does tend to become quite dangerous when you are looking at those different correctional services. But for this particular prison, which is the new prison here in Pietermaritzburg, there have been a few contrabands that have been found. And for that reason, I'm just going to bring in the National Commissioner of Correctional Services just to speak to us more about some of the things that have been found. Commissioner, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. I think firstly, let's start off with some of those things that have been found. Of course, the operation is still ongoing, but for now, what have you found?
Well, we found cell phones, we found cash, and we also found the makeshift, systems that they used to transport contrabands between cells.
In your operations, Commissioner, what have you found to be the biggest contributor towards those contrabands being found in prisons? Is it families? Are they coming through those cells that you're talking about now? Or could it be an even bigger problem of maybe fences being too weak?
The contributors are as follows. The first one is those offenders that still go to court, your further charges, those that are sentenced but they have further charges, and the remand detainees, those that are still going to court, have not been sentenced. So they interact with the public and they bring contrabands into the facility. The second risk is a risk from our own members who come to work every day. Some of them bring contrabands. And the third one is obviously the family members when they visit, because every weekend on Saturdays mainly we open up for members of the public to visit offenders.
What are the consequences, Commissioner, of those different contrabands that have been found?
Well, if an offender is found with a contraband, we charge that offender. We obviously would have interviewed the offender. So whoever would have assisted the offender to get the contraband into our facility will also, be followed up. If it is our members, we take them through disciplinary processes. But what is bad for offenders is that we reclassify them. This is a medium facility. If we find an offender with a cell phone here or a contraband or an illegal item, we basically reclassify that offender to be high risk, and we take that offender to another facility where security details would be more stringent, equal to the type of behavior.
Are we looking at a bigger problem, Commissioner, when it comes to perhaps this particular prison where you find that the prisoners themselves outnumber the number of officials that are on the floor, where you find that if the contraband is coming in, it does become difficult for those officials to find it easily because they are outnumbered?
Well, of course. I mean, we have more than 160,000 offenders, and the figures with regards to our members is less than 30,000, and we're talking the whole country. So there will always be that grey area with regards to the fact that our reach of our members does not get to each and every little corner. And offenders are very industrious in terms of where and how they hide these things and how they also bring them in. Now, to complement the low numbers with regards to the staff that we have, or members that we have, we also utilize technology, but it's expensive. I mean, for us to acquire a body scanner, we have to spend more than 6 million, just one body scanner. But if we had more of those, we wouldn't be running these operations. So we are trying to balance between what we have and what we can bring in from the technology side in terms of ensuring that we keep our facilities safe.
Lastly, Commissioner, before we let you go, are you going to be identifying other prisons during this period where you are trying to ensure a safer festive season, especially here in KZN?
Well, we will. As I did indicate, we are doing a search, conducting a search in Pietermaritzburg because of the information that we received. So we do continue to receive information. There will be others that we are going to target in this region and also throughout the country.
Commissioner, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. That was the National Commissioner of Correctional Services speaking to us about some of the operations that are going to take place during this festive season. And as you heard, there is a number of contraband that has been found at this particular prison, which is the new prison here in Pietermaritzburg. There's been cell phones that have been found, chargers, SIM cards, sharp weapons, USBs, and of course, as I said, all those things obviously are not allowed to be found amongst those inmates. But you are also looking at a bigger issue, in fact, and it was reported not so long ago that we are looking at a bigger problem when you're looking at those different correctional services that we have here in the country, where you find that there is an issue in terms of rooting out, the main problem. And as you heard the commissioner speak to us, they are trying to solve those problems by introducing certain technology that will be able to detect those cell phones that might be found in those prisons. But of course, he also spoke to us about a major issue in terms of how expensive it can be to try and implement those plans. But for this particular prison, which is the new prison in Pietermaritzburg, we are continuing with that operation in order to see if there is more contraband that will be found during the operation.
Sletiwe, thank you so much for that reporting. Appreciated there. Of course, some interesting detail, of course, as well. And the National Commissioner not willing to, of course, divulge just a little bit more with regards to any future operations. One can imagine why as well. Very own Sletiwe Ndlovu there joining us, of course, from Pietermaritzburg.